Joseph Lee Burrow is an American football quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals of the National Football League. Following a stint with Ohio State, Burrow played college football at LSU, where he won the Heisman Trophy and the 2020 College Football Playoff National Championship as a senior. He was selected by the Bengals first overall in the 2020 NFL Draft. After an injury-shortened rookie season, Burrow rebounded in his second year by leading the Bengals to their first playoff win since 1990, ending the longest active drought in the four major North American sports and an appearance in Super Bowl LVI. He holds the Bengals franchise records for passer rating, completion percentage, and single-game passing yards and is tied with Boomer Esiason for the most playoff wins. Early years. Joseph Lee Burrow was born in Ames, Iowa, on December 10, 1996, the son of Robin and Jim Burrow. Jim is a former football player and coach whose career lasted over 40 years. Burrow was born in Ames when his father was on the coaching staff at Iowa State University. According to a 2019 Sports Illustrated story, the Burrow athletic lineage dates back nearly a century. In the 1940s, his paternal grandmother set a Mississippi State high school record with an 82-point game in basketball. His paternal grandfather played basketball at Mississippi State. His uncle, John Burrow, played football at Ole Miss, and two older brothers also played football at Nebraska. He attended the 2002 Rose Bowl at age 5, as his father was an assistant coach for the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. Not long after, he began playing in youth football leagues. Unlike his father, uncle, and brothers, who all played on defense, Burrow started out as a quarterback, because his first youth team had no one else who could play the position. The Burrow family moved to North Dakota in 2003 when his father was hired as the defensive coordinator at North Dakota State University in Fargo. One day, while Jim was visiting his office, future Central Michigan head coach Dan Enos commented that the 7-year-old Joe had a future in football. The Burrows spent 2 years in Fargo before Jim accepted the defensive coordinator position at Ohio University in Athens. Burrow attended Athens High School in the Plains, Ohio, leading the school to 3 straight playoff appearances and the school's first 7 playoff victories in school history. During his career, he passed for 11,416 yards with 157 passing touchdowns and rushed for 2,067 yards with 27 rushing touchdowns. He was awarded the state's Mr. Football Award and Gatorade Player of the Year award as a senior in 2014. He and his Bulldog teammates went 14-1 that season. He was also a standout basketball player, and was named first-team All-State at point guard his senior year. Burrow was rated as a 4-star football recruit, and was the 8th highest-ranked dual-threat quarterback in the class of 2015, according to the 247 Sports Composite. He committed to Ohio State to play football on May 27, 2014. In December 2019, the Athens City School District School Board unanimously approved a measure to rename the school's football stadium in honor of Burrow. College career. Ohio State. After redshirting his first year at Ohio State in 2015, Burrow spent the next 2 years as a backup to J.T. Barrett, during which he played in 10 games, completing 29 of 39 passes for 287 yards and 2 touchdowns. Realizing that Dwayne Haskins would be named starting quarterback at Ohio State, Burrow transferred to Louisiana State University on May 20, 2018. Burrow had graduated from Ohio State in 3 years with a degree in Consumer and Family Financial Services, and would be immediately eligible as a graduate transfer. LSU. 2018. 2019. Collegiate statistics. Professional career. Burrow was one of 58 players invited to the 2020 NFL Draft, where he was selected first overall by the Cincinnati Bengals. He was the third consecutive Heisman-winning quarterback to be selected first overall, following Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. Burrow signed his 4-year rookie contract, worth $36.1 million, on July 31, 2020. 2020. Prior to the season, Burrow was considered the favorite to win the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Burrow was the only rookie quarterback from his draft class to start on opening week. In his debut, Burrow threw for 193 passing yards and an interception, while adding 46 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown in a 16-13 loss against the Los Angeles Chargers. During the next game against the Cleveland Browns, Burrow threw his first career passing touchdown, a 23-yard pass to tight end C.J. Uzomah. Although the Bengals lost the game, 35-30, he attempted 61 passes, completing 37 of them for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns, which broke the NFL record for most completions by a rookie quarterback in a single game. 2 weeks later, Burrow earned his first career win by defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars. He also became the first rookie quarterback to throw for 300 or more yards in 3 straight games. In a Week 7 game against the Browns, Burrow had 406 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and 1 interception in a 37-34 loss. He became the first rookie in NFL history with at least 400 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown in a single game, and had completed more passes than any other player in NFL history during their first 8 games. In the second half of a Week 11 game against the Washington football team, Burrow was hit low while throwing a pass and subsequently tore his ACL and MCL in his left knee, among other damage to his PCL and meniscus. He was later placed on injured reserve, ending his rookie season. 2021. On September 6, the Bengals confirmed Burrow had completed his rehab and would start Week 1. Burrow returned from his injury and helped lead the Bengals to a 2-1 start. In Week 4, Burrow completed 25 of 32 passes for 348 yards and 2 touchdowns in a 24-21 win over the Jacksonville Jaguars, earning AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Against the Baltimore Ravens in Week 16, Burrow completed 37 of 46 passes, threw for a career-high 525 yards, while also throwing 4 touchdowns without an interception, for a career-high 143.2 passer rating in the 41-21 win. Burrow's 525 yards were the 4th most passing yards in a game in NFL history, and broke Boomer Esiason's franchise record for most passing yards in a game as a result. The victory in this game was Cincinnati's 9th of the year, clinching the first winning record for the team since the 2015 season, and put the Bengals in first place of the AFC North. Burrow was named AFC Offensive Player of the Week as a result of his performance. The next week against the Kansas City Chiefs, Burrow threw for 446 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions in the 34-31 win. The win helped the Bengals clinch the AFC North and a playoff berth for the first time since 2015. Burrow finished the season playing in 16 games with 4,611 passing yards and 34 passing touchdowns, both franchise records. He also led the league in completion percentage and yards per pass attempt, but also led the league in sacks taken. In his playoff debut, Burrow threw for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 26-19 win against the Las Vegas Raiders in the wild card round, ending the Bengals' playoff win drought that had been active since the 1990 season. During the divisional round against the top-seeded Tennessee Titans, Burrow threw for 348 yards and an interception in the 1916 win, which was the first time in franchise history the Bengals won a playoff game on the road. The victory occurred despite Burrow being sacked 9 times, tying Warren Moon in 1993 for the most times sacked in a playoff game and becoming the most sacked quarterback to win a playoff game. In the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs, Burrow threw for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and helped the Bengals overcome a 21-3 deficit to win 27-24 in overtime. The 18-point comeback was tied with the Indianapolis Colts in 2006 for the largest in a conference championship. With the victory, the Bengals reached Super Bowl LVI, their first appearance since Super Bowl XXIII in 1988. In the Super Bowl, Burrow threw for 263 yards and a touchdown, but was sacked 7 times, ultimately losing to the Los Angeles Rams 23-20. Burrow set a playoff record for most times sacked in a single postseason, being sacked 19 times, surpassing the previous record set by Wade Wilson in 1987, with 14. 2022. In Week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Burrow struggled throughout the game, throwing for 338 yards and 2 touchdowns, but committed a career-high 5 turnovers, which included losing a fumble and throwing 4 interceptions, along with being sacked 7 times in the 23-20 overtime loss. In Week 6 against the New Orleans Saints, Burrow threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and rushed for an additional touchdown in the 30-26 comeback win. The next week against the Atlanta Falcons, Burrow finished the game throwing for 481 yards and 3 touchdowns, and rushed for an additional touchdown in the 35-17 win. Burrow also threw for 345 yards in the first half. This was Burrow's 5th game with over 400 passing yards, setting an NFL record for the most 400-yard games in a player's first 3 seasons. It was also his 2nd game with over 500 yards of offense and 4 touchdowns, making him the first player to accomplish this multiple times. Burrow was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week as a result of his performance. In Week 8 on Monday Night Football against the Cleveland Browns, Burrow completed 25 of 35 attempts for 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and lost a fumble in a 13-32 blowout loss. NFL career statistics. Regular season. Postseason.